Hi everyone, religious fanboy here again. Um, this week we are discussing the Christian lessons and themes in Touken Ranbu Hanamaru Season 1, Episode 5, titled Kindness is Strength. We see the lesson and theme of building up others and the importance of showing hospitality and loving our neighbors, showing love to those around us. Paralleled in both halves of the episode, we see the emphasis put on the mindset of showing love and glorifying God through the act of hospitality and making sacrifices for people in the episode through Shokudaikuris and um and other members of other sword warriors' attempts to make o- Onariku feel welcome, and like part he has friends, even though he does not put up he has a tough demeanor and has the mindset of that he just desires to fulfill his job as a sword warrior and does not see the need to interact with people and to have friends. And um, we see the attempts to do big elaborate gestures such as the um the presentation of the tea, as well as the carving of the apple and the poetry. But we see how they were able to show love in the in seemingly simple, often take things that are taken for granted, such as the few notes of a familiar song being played and the sharing of a meal together. Um, a passage that I want to talk about in regards to this is in Hebrews chapter 13, verses 1 through 6, which I'm going to read now in the ESV. Let brotherly love continue. Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. Remember those who are in prison, as though in prison with them, and those who are mistreated, since you also are in the body. Let marriage be held in honor among all, and let the marriage be bed and let the marriage bed be undefiled for actually I'm gonna stop at verse 4. Um I'll keep going. Let the marriage be held in honor among all, let the marriage bed be undefiled, for the God will judge the sexually immoral and adulterous. Keep your life free from love of money, and be content with what you have. For he has said it, I will never leave you nor forsake you. So we can confidently say, the Lord is my helper. I will not fear. What can man do to me? Specifically, focus on verses 1 through 4. We are given a reason for, and this passage can be interpreted in these first 4 verses as a motivation for showing hospitality and meeting the needs of and caring for other people as a way of showing love to God. And we also see in this passage, in the illustration, an example given about how we should remember and view prisoners and our responsibility to love and care for them. Being not unlike the second most important commandment, as stated by Jesus, to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. But as well as providing an important insight of what this prayer instruction looks to mean in practice, in a sense of needing to show the same love that we desire to be shown by God and by those around us to the other people around us, especially those who are not as well off as ourselves. This is specifically brought up here in referring to the prisoner, but is also referred to as important in other passages, such as the call to take care of the orphan, stranger, and the widow. Um, and something that was brought up in Chokadaikari's conversation with another sword warrior is talking about how they at the citadel, the sword warriors at the citadel are a very tight knit group and put a heavy emphasis on community among the sword warriors, and how they desire that for only sword warriors, especially in this case On Onarika. Um, and we also see this theme shown in the other half of the show, the other half of the episode that focuses primarily on Kashu, where he struggles with insecurity about the idea of being possibly replaced at any moment in regards to his position and how he is viewed by the master. But we can we find out my Mit, Mitsuki how this is a very different desire and reason for why Kashu was asked to be one of the two other sword warriors sent with Mitsuki on his first mission that he was in charge of leading. This also gives us an a good parallel and illustration for our calling to our need to be reminded of the fact that the church is not made of many individuals in the grand scheme of things. Though we are individual people, we are brothers and sisters in Christ. And in regards to the body of the church, we are of one body and many parts that all have different jobs. And we see this illustrated through Mitsuki's, I'm probably mispronouncing his name, um, explanation for why the team roster for the mission was the way it was, where he said that it wasn't to replace or directly teach Kashu a lesson in humility, but it was because the master wanted Mitsuki and Okada to learn from Kashu because of the high regard they had placed the master had and still has for Kashu. And we even see in later on in season 2 how Kashu, even though still at times reluctantly, he eases more into the role of being a welcoming person and encouraging person that regularly builds up the other sword warriors in season 2. And I'm gonna read the um the passage in Corinthians that I had referenced, starting with verse 13 of Corinthians, 1 Corinthians chapter 12, and going through verse 20. For in one spirit we were all baptized into one body, Jews or Greeks, slaves or free, and all were made to drink of one spirit. For body does not consist of one member, but of many. If the foot should say, because I am not a hand, I do not belong to the body, that would not make it any less part of the body. And if the ear should say, because I am not an eye, I do not belong to the body, that would not make it any less a part of the body. If the whole body were an eye, where would the sense of hearing? If the whole body were an ear, where would the sense of smell? Oh, I'm forgetting to put B. Um, but as God arranged the members in the body, each one of them as He chose, if all were a single member, where would the body be? As it is, there are many parts, yet one body. We also see this shown not only in the desire for community and the importance of community in both stories, but also in a small line that is in regards to the fight scene we see during the mission, where because of Mitsuki and Kashu's skill sets and their actions, even though there were conflicts between Mitsuki and Kashu during the fight, they still ended up working together, and both Mitsuki and Kashu were able to do what was needed and work together, that allowed the mission to go successfully with very little damage being done to any of the three sword warriors. I highly recommend this episode, and I hope and pray that you got out of this episode and this video whatever God intended for you to take away from it. And with that being said, may God be with you, and see you next time. Bye.